Hello everyone and welcome back to Faithful to the Traitors. We are a podcast discussing series 2, I was going to say 2 in French then, but I don't know what it is. Series 2 of the Traitors France. The Traitors Canada. I am Ben, host, and I am faithful.
Bonjour, bon ami. Je m'appelle Alexander.
Oh, I was going to say, as you may tell, we have Corinne here.
Je suis un traitor.
Right. She was on a horse this week.
Nay.
Her talents never cease to amaze me. The things that she can do.
Oui.
3 outfit changes. Do you want to rank them quickly? We had the breakfast one.
Bah.
Where she was in her sort of green suede.
Bah.
Little pixie haircut with flick on the end, full fringe.
Comme ça.
And we had her horse outfit.
Très bon.
Which was my personal favourite.
Oui.
And then, raising eyebrows and shoulders, she had her high shoulders outfit at the end. Did you see? Looked like Dracula.
I can't speak any more French because I've
Oui.
I've pretty much non. J'ai 12 ans.
Shoulder pads are back. In triple volume.
She brought them back last series, to be fair.
Yes,
and
well,
she's
ones.
continued this series. She's got very strong... her hair, her jawline,
I'm going to make a meme of her high shoulder saying where I carry my stress. Literally like this.
You should have kept that for the socials. Shall I talk about the socials and where people can find us? Because, of course, you can get in touch with us with any of your views of the Canadian Traitors or the Canadians, if you want. Talk to us about Canada or the show The Traitors. In fact, you can find us by emailing faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter or X @Traitors Podcast. Last episode I said, do we use it anymore? And then I stormed it with 3 posts. So
what?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter, yes.
The bird socials, or Elon's socials, I should say. Insta, you can find us, or Threads at Faithful to the Traitors. You can find us on YouTube if you like watching a video podcast by searching Faithful to the Traitors or Bam Productions on YouTube. And don't forget, you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of your favourite podcast apps. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us 5 stars, ring the bell, share us with your friends. Do everything. You can also help with the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. And Ben, we've got a channel on WhatsApp.
Oh, something else.
Find the QR code here.
Hidden on the screen now.
Yeah. If you're watching us, you can scan the QR code and find us. Otherwise, there'll be a link on the show notes. We've got 5 people in our channel, so thank you very much. And basically we're going to use that to update you about this show, but also any future projects we might be doing in the future. So
all those people who said, are you doing the episode, is it out yet? Follow the WhatsApp channel and you'll know straight away, because we'll put it on there first, maybe.
we I don't know anymore. So yes, so do that, and that's how you can find us.
Did you enjoy, which I did enjoy this episode, the editing in the Canadian series is a bit odd because it's all very fast and not very long, and it's all just quick thrusts and just can't cope.
Just like Corinne.
That's what she likes.
That's why she was on the horse. Quick thrusts. Quick thrust, no one could cope.
But we saw more of her pussy though.
We did. We saw a lot of her pussy.
I know, there was 2 actually.
She had her pussy on the piano. She had her pussy on a cushion. There was a picture of her pussy.
I want to know more about the cat. The name. Is he in the house all the time? Because when the people would walk around discussing, talking about the boring
he was
show,
staring at them like
talking tactics, boring. He was just sat in the lounge. So anyone who's listening who's on this series, there's 21 of you left. Tell us, was the cat there to befriend? Because I would just spend my time with the cat.
What's the name of Corinne's pussy? And does she pet her pussy? And does she keep it in good condition?
Right. This is like, what is it, that show?
Are You Being Served?
Are You Being Served from the 80s or 70s?
Both. I think it started in the 70s and the 80s.
That's where your humour is, 70s.
Gutter. Absolute gutter.
Right, so should we talk about the actual Traitor show this week? Because we didn't really do that last week.
We did.
No,
it took us a long time to get to it. And anyone who's been watching the or listening to the podcast for a long time knows that sometimes we just take a little bit of time to get to the point. And to the point, to our detriment, I think we started adding like the time we started talking about the traitors on the podcast in the end. Don't think we did this time.
If you want analytics, you don't come here. Basically.
If you want analytics, then I don't know.
Alex.
Anna Alex. Chris is gone.
Well, we might as well just finish now because
I don't want to live anymore.
naked and afraid is what I am.
I was.
After hearing this news.
After we watched the episode of the Traitors, episode 2,
Right.
I was in the shower crying. I was naked and afraid.
Same.
I was
crouched up,
can't-
knees up to my face. Yeah, very sad.
knees up to you. I just got this image of you hovering above the shower.
Naked and afraid.
I can't believe they got rid of Chris so early when they had an opportunity to get rid of Dylan.
I know, I've got a few red flags on some of the contestants, but we're not talking about them yet. But yeah, it's a shame to see Chris go. It's never good being the first murdered.
No, because you don't get to play the game.
Yeah.
It's
You
a
don't
bit
get to do a
miserable.
round table.
No. He could come back. No, he can't come
he's
back. Not
murdered.
someone you've murdered. You can't come back, can you? If you've been eliminated.
Ask Kate.
Well,
Maybe it was his fault. This is the first show he's ever done where he's had a top on. So
we wore clothes. Yeah, that's
didn't
true.
work out for him.
He found it really uncomfortable and itchy. He's like, ugh, I just can't do it.
I'm gonna have
Craig."
to dig out his Naked and Afraid episodes and just give them a watch, I think, for research.
We need to learn more about Chris, despite him not being on the show anymore. I think
Oh.
what better way than to?
That's very natural of
see
you.
him being-
Okay, are you ready?
Oh yeah, go on.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Chris.
The end. Right, so I have my fact file from the beloved Yahoo News.
Yahoo.
.ca. Right, so Chris, him. Look at his photo there, lovely. Chris sees life as an adventure. In 2019, Chris became the first Canadian male to take part in the survival series Naked and Afraid.
This feels like stuff we know.
Which we just said. We know more than this fact file. He's done 3 series.
We
Or was
always
it
say
2
we should
series?
write this bloody fact file, really, to be
Where
fair.
he got the nickname the Lion after after showing his
for his
bush.
bushy mane. For his bushy mane. Chris's bushy mane.
After surviving challenges in Mexico, South Africa, and Colombia.
Is that where lions dwell?
Prowl. I thought they would be like he was the head hunter of all the food or something. That's why he's called the Lion. He was the top of the pack. He won them all, but no. He
No,
just
it's not a
went to where-
competition, Naked and Afraid, is it? It's just that you do it. That's what I
Survive.
thought. You
I
just
don't know. I
go out
used
and
to. I
survive.
watched it when it first started ages
I know you
ago.
did. And like,
I was
even
obsessed
then-
with it for a bit.
I
because
know.
It was just. It was good, but I haven't watched it in a long time.
Well, I always argued that what did it add for them to be naked? So why
the
do
thing
it?
that I've always thought about when I'm watching Naked and Afraid was the no shoes bit.
Yeah, oh god, big time. I would hate to be walking around in a rainforest
Because
or
they're
somewhere.
we're
with no-
walking. They just I don't understand how that happens, and that would just put me off.
I
'Cause
would
you can bring
make
like an
shoes.
item. Some of them bring an item,
Oh, is it shoes?
or some people bring a fire thing,
A lighter.
lighter. No, like
fire
the thing. What's
thing.
it called? A fire starter kit.
Oh, well, like Flint.
Yeah, and some people bring a knife, but I would shoes is what I would do if I was on Naked and Afraid. But I would too afraid to
I'd
do it.
probably not apply. I'd bring
It
my
can't be that
absence.
bad. Chris has done it 3 times, so
I mean, good for Chris. Do you get paid for doing it? Or is
I
it just
don't
for the
know.
adventure? I wonder if they get paid like a wage because that's their time where they should be at work.
maybe they get paid on the
Imagine
traitors.
phoning in. They probably do. You're phoning in work saying, "Oh, I can't come in today. I'm in the rainforest, naked and afraid."
Although, as Trana says, they're only being paid in Canadian dollars.
I loved that.
So
Trana spoke for us all because yes,
we got to work.
There's an exchange rate. We're not going to hide behind the fact that there is an exchange rate here, and Canadian dollars tend to be slightly lesser value than, say, the British. Although, to be fair, there was a time when the British pound wasn't very strong. But we won't do that talk.
We're not that type of podcast.
We're not
We're
political.
not financial.
Nor financial, but nor
Nor
Steph.
Naked and Afraid.
Nor
Believe
Steph.
it or not. 10 minutes in, we're not a Naked and Afraid podcast.
Although it would be a Naked and Afraid podcast. Give us the money. Is it Discovery it's on?
I don't know.
Come on, Discovery.
I thought it was MTV. But maybe not.
I think they're all under the same umbrella. Oh no, hang on. It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
right. I'm not
we've-
going off tangent.
we've
I've promised myself.
Done our Chris. He's now dead. Gone. So
Bye,
that's his
Chris.
5 minutes of fame, I'm afraid.
Hello,
which is-
Chris, by the way, also, because I feel like you might be watching or listening.
Well, that's very
because-
presumptuous.
I hope you're watching and listening.
He's
because,
busy
Well,
being naked.
applying
and
for episode 4.
Right, so
Naked and Afraid in London.
we had our first breakfast.
Yes, sorry, I'm just thinking about that now. Yes, first breakfast.
I noticed the door was painted gold. The door handle was painted a square of gold. Did you notice that?
No.
Really, every time they did a close-up shot of it, there was like, it was just paint. It was gold paint.
What,
in a
around the
square.
handle?
Yes. Very cheap, Karine. She's busy with her outfits and her hair. She's not doing her house up, is she?
Yeah, but maybe the wood is like of the door is like ancient oak, so she only wants to paint the handle.
It was very distracting for me.
She's busy with her pussy. Leave her alone.
Bless him. I want to know his name.
Well, it might not be a he.
He looks like a
How
he.
presumptuous of you that she has a male pussy.
He looks like a he. So they obviously Chris was dead, so they knew what that was happening. These episodes are very short, by the way.
They're about 40 minutes, aren't they?
Yeah, they sort of rush through everything apart from the games, apparently.
Because I remember last series they were an hour.
I think they were short last year, weren't they? But they feel rushed this time.
There's not a lot of gameplay discussion.
No,
I've
it's
noticed.
all them playing the challenge.
They're doing the challenge.
It's like 30 minutes of the show.
Which is a lot.
It is.
But then to be fair, the challenge was quite important this time.
I liked this, actually.
But
they did something different.
Before we do the challenge, should we just throw out a few people's suspicions? Like Cedric, for instance, who kept badgering Rebecca and giving people the impression that he was concerned that Rebecca was a traitor. Convinced quite a few people, didn't he?
Well, I feel like we're seeing the beginnings of a boys' club here.
I agree.
And I don't like it.
No.
Cedric is rubbing me up the wrong way. I don't like to badmouth people on episode 2.
But
my opinions can change as they do, but I don't trust him. I'm getting red flags and I don't like it. And the fact that he's won on this episode has annoyed me.
I don't think the thing that's annoyed me, well, I suppose we should talk about this at the round table, but it's the fact that he got away with it. And it looks as though that there's not much finger pointing toward him afterward. Normally, if someone pushes someone really hard and they're not a traitor, like he did with Rebecca, then people immediately then turn on the person who pushed it.
They turned on Mike pretty much.
They did turn on Mike. Mike was the one they kind of turned on really quickly, and that surprised me. And it almost showed me that when we were first watching the episode, it felt like Cedric in his head had the leadership of the group, but actually, I think he has more. At least Enoch is at least allowing him to have maybe enough rope to hang himself, but Cedric does seem to have some kind of control there. And as you say, it seems like to be a boys
it's
club.
Kirkland, which I'm disappointed in. Farming for love.
He's farming for love.
Well, I'm not happy. He should be with the girls. Just putting it out there.
He should be farming
with the girls.
With the girls, I know.
That's why I like Kyra. She wants 2 female traitors to win. I was like, yes.
Well, Kyra and Nedda were having a lovely time against Mike this episode. Michael, sorry, I should say this episode.
Although Nedda's like, I can't trust you because you don't trust me, so I don't trust you. So it's just like, no, just go to the final.
But they are teaming up, which is funny.
Yeah, but I trust Kyra. And I like
Rebecca. I trust Kyra too. I love Kyra.
So I feel like Aaron is in this boys group with Cedric. Kirkland.
Aaron is the picture when he's confused.
Aaron looks different every time he's on the screen. It's really odd. And I guess Kevin's in there too because he's a bachelor. But like, I just don't like the idea of what I'm saying.
I agree with you. It's Aaron, Kirkland, Kevin, and Cedric, and they all seem to be teaming up together. Dylan's kind of like watching from the outside in and wants to be part of that group.
No, yeah, not welcome.
There has to be a confrontation between Cedric and Dylan at some point because they both have such personalities where they're desperate for the centre stage and they're loud enough to want it, and it always seems to be going from one way to another. It's just that Cedric seems to have the influence while Dylan seems to be the one everyone's a bit miffed at because again at the game Dylan kind of started mouthing off a little bit again and people started going, oh, for God's sake, Dylan, shut up. And Dylan did the thing again where he saw the questions and kept saying, look, question, and then someone else went off and did it. Look, another question, and someone went off and did it.
Wasn't he the one who told them to do the question when they didn't want to?
And he told them to do the final question when they said, no, we haven't got time, we need to go because otherwise we won't bank the money
why
we've
did
got.
they listen to him then? When all of them stopped, all of them were like, we shouldn't have stopped. No, we shouldn't have. It's like, well, why did you then?
Because
that was Kirkland as well.
No one was strong enough to kind of like say, no one wanted to buck the trend because they'd already started. Do you know what I mean? Because they'd already started answering the question. None of them then wanted to be the one who bucked the trend because then later on that could be used against them. They could be like, well, we could have won another $2,000 if we just stayed.
That's true, yeah.
We had more. Imagine if they crossed the line and they had like a minute left. They'd be like, well, we had plenty of time to do
I'm
it
glad
then.
they ran out of time.
Yes.
Because this has been extremely suspicious for a few years now.
On all the series, on every nation series, that every time they're always 1 or 2 seconds away from doing it.
And they show a
It's
clip and they're like
yeah.
a mile and a half away up a hill and it's like 10 seconds.
And
And then they cross. It's like, oh, you did it. It's like, so I'm
Win.
glad that this time
Way.
actually did run out of time. So that was good. But yeah, I don't like the boys club. I want the gays and the girls just to team up. Is it too much to ask?
No, it's not. But the problem is that 2 of the strongest women in the game are traitors. And so I think that that's kind of gone against them as well. Although Mary Jo, I'm well team Mary Jo right now. Mary Jo seems to be
I'm
on.
not. I'm
her-
suspicious of. I don't.
No.
No, she went after Rebecca though, and it's like no.
Yeah, but she's made a few accusations out there. And I think if
Yeah.
her and Mike sat down, pretended they were recording a podcast together, because Mike is a true crime podcast.
Yeah, she does podcast too.
Exactly.
/ TV presenting allegedly.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
We don't live in Canada, so we can't
Exactly,
suggest
that's why I
that she
don't
doesn't
know.
present. Yeah, but to say allegedly makes it sound like she makes it up in her brain. Like she sits at home in front of the couch and just talks to the... No.
No. Mary Jo, no. I like Mike though. He's one of my favourites.
I
But they're
love
going
Mike.
up against him now. So all my favourites always are just being targeted.
I love Mike.
I
Mike's
wanted
a great
Rebecca
guy.
to stay for a bit. I wanted Chris to stay.
I wanted Chris to stay, big time. But I must say I wasn't fussed about Rebecca.
Because you hate women.
Because I just hate women. Big time.
Yeah.
But more the reason, because I didn't really get to know much about Rebecca until this episode. So it kind of like, it felt like I was thrust information about Rebecca. Rebecca was thrust in my face. And I didn't have time to kind of like register it.
Did you want to
before.
know a bit more about Rebecca then while we're on the subject?
Yeah, I suppose we can do that. And then maybe talk about the game afterwards. Because there was a few tidbits from the game, which was quite interesting.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Rebecca. Right, we're timing this brilliantly. I love the way you set up ready to do by doing it afterwards. It's like there's always this uncomfortable long gap before, and you can just anyone keen ear can just hear type of.
I edit out the typing, so
okay, fine.
no one can hear that. But now you've pointed it out, we'll all know the secret. So Rebecca spends her days finding ways to express her creativity.
I thought that was going to rhyme. Spending days to find the ways.
No, she didn't write this.
No.
From singing to writing music, being behind the lens of a camera at local concerts and events, and cheerleading in the gym. She loves to go on adventures with her friends or her 2 pups, Jax and Tyson.
Oh.
There you go.
What breed are the dogs? Rebecca, get in touch. What breeds are Jack and Tyson? I also like that when we were watching the episode, it came up as occupation cheerleader.
I didn't know cheerleader was an occupation.
Nor did I.
I thought it was like something you do in school, is it? I don't know. She's married, got a lovely boyfriend.
That's good.
So there you go. I can't see any photos of dogs on her Instagram, which is worrying me.
Was it?
Oh, there's one.
There's one. Oh, hello. What is it? Oh,
It's a
looks a bit staffy.
yeah, but it's not a staffy. It's like a ball.
Oh, it's a
It's a
boxer.
thingy.
A boxer cross.
Is it a boxer?
It's got a bit of a boxer face.
Well, that's one of them we've seen.
I
white
bet that's
dog.
Tyson because it's a
Oh yeah,
boxer.
Tyson the boxer. Yeah, Jax. Who's Jax?
Because
There's no
like,
picture of
in
Jax.
the UK, everyone who's got a boxer dog names it Bruno.
That's true. Well, if you're listening, Rebecca, let us know what breed Jax is, please, because there's no photos on your
And
Instagram.
if indeed Tyson is the boxer dog.
So your fact file says that you love to go on adventures with your dogs.
But where's the pictures of these adventures? But then she doesn't have
Didn't
to
exist if there's no pictures.
Exactly. It
That's
didn't
the
happen
rules of
if there's no
social
picture.
media.
It didn't happen if there's no picture.
She's got a YouTube channel as well, so she's got
Okay.
vlogs. So I may watch a vlog later and find the
Does
dogs.
she do workouts?
No. Well, I don't know. Yeah, she's a cheerleader.
So I could do a cheerleader workout.
If you wanted to.
Okay.
Is that what you want?
Well, I'm
in life?
adding up my workouts. I'm meant to be making videos with workouts with people this year, aren't I?
No, you're doing different things with each contestant.
Oh, what
So
I do
you'll be
with Chris.
cheerlead. You'll be naked. Yeah, you can go on a Naked and Afraid camping
Shall I do a series
adventure
of Naked and Afraid with Chris?
with Chris, yeah. Just bring shoes. That's my only advice.
Well, that or see, you say that, but I'd maybe want that knife.
No, see, this is how Naked and Afraid gets you. You have to choose. You can make your own shoes when you're out there if you want to.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Get a bit of reed, get like a
Yeah,
leaf.
see?
But then I've got flat feet, so I'd feel every
Can
single
you start
bump.
a fire on your own? Because you might need to bring that too.
The friction.
See, this is why it's such a good concept of a show.
What a great show. Right, so the game.
So they lost their money.
But they lost all their money that they earned. They only got 3 questions right, but that was because the traitors, which I thought was a good move.
This is a good, I like
Traitors
this.
deliberately misanswered the questions. They said the wrong answers to what the group collectively would answer. So they knew what the group would say, and every time it was wrong answer, wrong answer, wrong answer, wrong answer. So the traitors did that on purpose. Yes, I moan quite a lot by saying that why would traitors sabotage a game when it means it's money that they're not going to get?
This one made sense, though.
This one made sense. I think it's very early, so there's still lots of time to earn them more money if they need to. And it really, really did rile a lot of people up. Pac-Man was really upset about it. He got quite wound up to the point that he was almost crying because he felt like that they were constantly going against the grain.
I mean, it's good in 2 ways. I like this because sometimes a lot of people watch the show say the challenges feel pointless. So this was a really good way to do it because this, if you're watching as a faithful, this gives you a chance to try and find actual factual evidence for the first time ever of who a traitor is by how things were answered. But then at the same time, the traitors knew that the faithful were going to be told the traitors answered these, so they gave fake answers to maybe throw stuff out to make people think, oh, someone else is a traitor. So this is a good way to do challenges.
I agree.
Make them have a point.
Make them useful. Make them exactly.
And an actual way to be, because there's so many times where people are like, we can't call you a traitor. We need hard evidence. There's never hard evidence. This is one way where there could be some. So it was a good little way to do it.
Because Nida also said that she knew the answers to all of the questions, but she deliberately didn't point. She didn't push toward them. And again, that would have been an obvious thing if they had. No, I agree with you. And normally they ask with questions like who's least trustworthy, who's the biggest influence, who's going to tell the most lies. Normally they ask them as a collective. They must do like a questionnaire the night before, something like that.
This way it was much better.
Because that actually does, you're right, go into the mind of the traitors as well. Like who would think that way, who would cause that divide on purpose. So yes, 10 out of 10 for that. I still think there should be a separate pot for traitors where if they somehow stop the faithful getting the money into the collective pot, there's a separate traitors pot.
Like a bonus.
Which is almost like a bonus, because then that would give the traitors a little bit more incentive to kind of...
Not backstab each other so quickly as well.
Not just that, but also to kind of like manipulate the games to their advantage, because they know they could earn... There's $50,000 pot plus $10,000 extra dollars now that we could win if we win as traitors. Do you see what I mean? So they would win $60,000.
Win what? The challenge.
If they win the whole program.
Oh, no, I thought you meant like at the round table, if they vote out, if a faithful goes, they get a bonus.
Well, no, that's this is
that could be good because that could stop the traitors keep like going
against
you're a
one
traitor.
another, But then you could do that with the games as well. So there's a separate traitor pot where not necessarily like big amounts of money, but just a little extra money could go into, which would incentivize then the traitors to mess up the games maybe a bit more readily.
Then that's a bit like the mole, isn't it?
Well, it reminds me a bit like there's a game show. There was a kids show in the UK called Trapped.
Where they say my parents are in the house or hidden in the house or something.
A hider in the house. I used to love that. Called Trapped. And basically there would be a group of 5 kids and they play a game, but one of them was a saboteur and they had to sabotage the game without being found out.
That's like the mole though, so it's a bit close. Okay. It's a bit... the traitors is quite similar to the mole anyway. Because some people were like, it would be good if they didn't tell us who the traitors were through the whole series. It's like, that's the mole.
No, I agree.
So, it's a bit tricky.
When I first saw that, I thought, but I thought, again, going back on episode 1, the way the Canadian series did it, where they didn't tell you who the third traitor was to the very end, I thought that was a nice little way of pulling you into the show. But I just think a separate pot where the traitors could play like another little game would be cool. But let us know if you feel the same way. You've got the details. It's all there.
Yeah, if there's just a way to make... Because at the moment, it's the traitors turn on each other all the time. So they need to find a way to make traitors
be more
almost
collective.
Force them to be a bit of a team. Because already we're seeing the traitors go against
I think this is the earliest. Yeah, this is the earliest where they've gone. Well, I think if Neda had her way, let's be honest, what she wants to do is she wants to be the sole winner of the game.
Yes. And she has, I feel she has trust issues. I don't know what happened on Big Brother Canada. I don't want to know. But she has trust issues and she doesn't trust no one. Kyra just wants 2 women to win. And Michael is stood there thinking, these 2 are teaming up against me. I don't trust you.
Do you think Kyra wants 2 women to win, though? Or do you think Kyra wants her and Nick to win? Because she has to. If you think that Kyra is going to be the last, either just her and one other, or just her, she's gonna have to recruit her brothers, surely. But it's a risky game because then if they're both recruited, it's an obvious 1-2 elimination, isn't it? If you think about it.
At least they know they could trust each other, though.
Yes.
So we could actually have trustworthy.
You're quite.
We could have trustworthy traitors for the first time.
That'd be nice. They should have a whole family on the show, like the Waltons. They should have like 5
Family
members
of 22.
Yeah, no, 21. There's one person who's not the family. 21 traitors. Yeah, that'd be fun.
But so anyway, so Rebecca went. The round table was quite short again. I don't know why they cut it short. Maybe we need to seek out the longer episode.
Maybe. But there wasn't much to discuss anyway, really. I mean, again, Cedric kind of pushed the Rebecca idea. Aaron is on the same team with Dylan, as we've discussed, saying that, well, their original plan was they wanted to get Mike out first and then Rebecca. So they've got Mike on the brain as well.
Poor Mike, he found a traitor.
I was about to say, Mike was the only one who, well, not the only one, there was 2 who said it. I forget who the second one was, but he was the one who had a good reason behind Michael, saying that every single response that Michael gives feels rehearsed to him. And it's funny because when they get to the Traitors Conclave later, the first thing Kyra points out is, Michael, when you got that accusation given to you...
You got very aggressive.
You got aggressive, you became defensive very quickly, and you need to calm down and not look so suspicious, so quickly.
Take a step back. He did, and then got suspicious about the 2 traitors in front of him.
Yes, well, we'll get to that bit in a minute. So the vote was quite split. It was Rebecca 9, Cedric 5, which wasn't too surprising. I wonder if that will stay at the steady 5, because it'll be the same 5 voting for Cedric, but everything else around it will carry on being different. Mike got 4, Michael got 2, and Aaron surprisingly got 1.
Yeah, it's very odd. But
so I think Mike and Michael are going to be the 2 who are going to be battling it for the next few episodes. I think Cedric will always be bubbling along. I do love the fact that they all, 2 or 3 of them have said that even if Cedric's not a traitor, he's just a bad faithful. There's always one in the pack. There's always a black sheep in the pack. And unfortunately, in this case, it's Cedric. Cedric's obviously become the troubled child of the group this time around.
I mean, that's fine. I do feel a bit sorry for Michael because it is obvious that both of them see him as collateral damage, and he's kind of worked that out in the conclave. But I wouldn't be against them just taking out all the men, to be quite honest, because they want to keep Gale. He wants to get rid of Gale, and it's like, no, get rid of Aaron. I would get rid of Aaron if I was them, and I just want the women to kill all the men this series. That's how I feel. It may be the host's fault for all her outfits.
Do you want an American-style Housewives collective, do you? Housewives of Quebec or whatever.
I do.
Do they do a Canadian series of The Real Housewives?
Probably. They do every state everywhere, don't they?
They do in the UK.
Every town.
There's 2 actually, I think, in the UK. One of them is Essex, I think, and another one's up north. No one talks about it though because no one watches it. Oh no, there was who? It's again irrelevant. Moving on. So at the conclave,
yes,
Michael gets told off by Kyra. Then they all throw out one person each who they want to put up for a murder.
Can I just say before we move on?
Of course.
Yasmi, her fake eyelashes or her eyelashes, whatever, the lighting around the round table was so bad that they cast a weird shadow on her face, and I couldn't get over that.
It was like a storm,
it was like an overhead lighting of her. It was just really that was just mean. The lighting in that room is not good, but her eyelashes were casting a weird shadow, and it was just no.
Can I ask, is it Yasmi, the one I keep saying Jasmine to? It's Yasmi, is it?
I can't remember. They did say her name. I can't remember.
Okay. Well,
she said this, though.
Oh, that's going to be hard.
Oh.
What's she talking about?
Maybe she's talking about her eyelashes.
Oh, that's going to be hard.
It's like spray,
Well,
lacquer
the lighting in
hair.
that room is just unfortunate.
To be fair,
that distracted me.
Again, in previous series of other episodes of countries, we've always said that the round table is probably the harshest room for makeup because we've said people look yellow in there.
Yeah, I think that was the UK one, wasn't it? It was just awful.
They've obviously not quite worked out because they obviously want to keep the light low because it's television. You need it to be quite bright in order to see people. I don't know, how could they get around it? Maybe they put a spot. Well, no, because again, if you have long eyelashes,
if they have
a spotlight down on each person, it looks a bit tricky.
So, that was unfortunate.
Because the other difficult thing is they need to keep the background dark enough that you can't see the cameras. So
Very tricky game.
it's a very tricky. Think of the production. Think of poor old Charlie. What he would
Kareen's
do.
there with 360 lighting, just being fine.
Kareen's got a camera on each shoulder. She goes up to people and like talks to them like that. So
Anyway, Conclave. Yeah,
Yes.
they wanted to get rid of one each.
each
Go.
of them gave a name each. So Yasmi was one because they felt like that throws Aaron into suspicion, and that people then start watching him if she goes. Because Yasmin, sorry, we should say, said to Aaron that if he votes Rebecca and then she ends up being a faithful, she's going to keep her eye on him. That happened. So now she's going to keep her long lashes on him. He's going to feel the wind as she blinks at him every time. Michelle was also put up for Nichelle. Sorry, every time. Nichelle.
I know, it's very difficult. Michelle is a very well-known name.
Michelle is a very well-known
in England.
name. Yeah.
So
Nichelle. Can I call her
heard of it
Nish?
before. But I love Nichelle.
I love Nish too.
She's the police officer, isn't she? Yeah.
But she's the one who said that, like, I'm a police officer. I've told you everything about me. How can I lie anymore? Like, because she got called out as being the biggest liar, I think. In
Yeah, the one
game.
who's hiding something.
That's
isn't
it. And she said, "What more can I possibly hide? I've literally told you everything about my life."
But because they wanted to get rid of her because, like, I was like, no.
She's very faithful.
I know.
So
but I
she's
like
too
those
faithful
ones.
for her own good.
She's going to be good if she makes it through to like episode 8.
A police officer normally does very well on the traitors. They normally spot them
So
quite
I'm going to be
quick.
annoyed if she's killed off. And the last one was Gail, which was Michael's pick.
So yes, so Michael's pick was that he wanted Gail to go, and as soon as he gave that name, both Nida and Kyra said, "No, we want to keep her because she'll be a good recruit for the future."
And she's kind of on their side. So that's where he was like, he thought, I need to get rid of her.
Well,
But-
Michael then felt like he was being pushed out of the traitor group,
which
was
in fact
funny.
is true.
It is very true. So it's very, very true. And he's already sniffing out now that he knows that them two are already
So
suspicious.
it ended on a bit of a weird thing where he was like, well, I'm not changing my mind. And they were like, okay.
Well, no,
And there's nothing they could really say.
No,
but-
there was. Kyra said, it's like, well, it's
There's two of
fine,
us.
but there's two of us and one of you, so your name's not going to be, even though you're putting the name forward, it means nothing because we can just choose between Michelle and Jazz. So I think Gail's safe. Let's be honest. Gail is safe.
Are they going to risk angering him and then he can sabotage them the next morning?
I don't think he's got enough power in the group, though. Kyra, out of all the three of them, Kyra has the most influence in that group.
She does. Everyone trusts her.
Everyone trusts her.
I trust her and I know she's a traitor.
Exactly.
That's an issue.
She's got a brother, so she can get Nick to kind of rile people up as well. And
She looked great in the red vest, by the way.
Who, Nick or
Nick.
Nick? She was proud of Nick. Very sweaty.
Couldn't tell it. Never sweats.
Never sweats. I want to know what's it like.
Never sweats, but he's sweating. And I want to say how proud I am, but I can't.
Yeah. I just want to lick his arm and taste that sweat. His salty goodness. Nida has suspicion on her. Michael has suspicion on her. Kyra doesn't. Kyra's got the biggest influence. So I think that the elimination is going to be Yasmi. The murder will be Yasmi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Kyra and Nida are going to step up their push toward Michael. And I think
get rid of him.
with the help of Mike, next episode, Michael will be the banishment.
Then they can recruit another girl and have their
Or Nick.
Powerpuff Girl moment.
Because Kyra wants to see him sweat.
Well, no. They are brother and sister, remember?
Of course. No, yeah. So, but I think Nick or indeed Nichelle are the two, Gail are the two most obvious recruits. I think Dylan's upset that he's not getting asked. I think Cedric will be upset that he's not got asked.
I wouldn't disqualify Michael too quickly, though, because I feel like if he thinks the game's up for him anyway, he could just sabotage.
But I don't
as much as possible.
I don't think he needs to be careful who he chooses to sabotage. It would not be a winning plan for him if he tries to do both of them. So he needs to look out in the group and think who's the weakest of those two and go for Nida.
Knowing his luck, he'll go up to Nick and be like, I'm suspicious of Kyra. And it will just all backfire and go wrong.
And it will go wrong. But I just feel like the way it was put across, I think Michael sadly isn't going to be in any other situation. I think Michael would have been a very good traitor. But sadly, I think in the situation he's in, he's not got long. And
It's a dangerous place to be on episode 2.
I'm very excited to see Kyra be victorious. Because I'm putting out there right now that Kyra
Yeah, but
is a winner.
what if she trusts Nida too much and then Nida doesn't trust her?
She doesn't trust
We've got that.
Nida. Kyra doesn't trust Nida, but she's more subtle with it. Nida's loud and brash and will tell anyone who'd listen. Kyra keeps it. And don't forget, Kyra's already keeping a very big secret that her brother's in the game. I mean,
Her sweaty brother.
her sweaty brother. Look how other people are unravelled on Traitors when they've had a relative in the game.
That's true.
She's kept it very cool.
And everyone keeps saying, we're going to trust what you say because we know you're faithful. So, yeah, well, we will see. So, unfortunately, we've now got a week to wait.
I know. It's been quite nice that we've had 2 episodes to watch. Maybe they should put 2 episodes out a week.
I think they should.
Who knows if that would be a good idea?
Who are we?
Or not.
We're not in charge of CTV. So,
Canadia's favourite channel.
it's annoying me. They bleep all the swear words as well.
Fuck me.
Well, I normally use swear words as my vast amount of soundboard.
You had a soundboard as a swear word. Wasn't Verbally Violate the Canadian series 1?
Yes.
I know it's not a swear word.
It was.
Just remind me.
Right, so that's the end of this then. We'll be back next week. We should be out weekly and on time from now on.
Right on time. But before we do come back, because now you've genuinely got time now to get in touch with us and give us your points of view of what you think is going to happen. Who do you think is going to get murdered, and who do you think is going to get eliminated in episode 3?
Who's your early favourite for winner?
Who's your
like?
favourite to
Who do you
win?
like?
And who do you think that any other characters is on borrowed time? You can get in touch with us by emailing us faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. What's the name of the pussy? Go to Twitter at Traitors Podcast or Instagram.
Can we stop saying
Threads
pussy? I don't like the word.
at Faithful to the Traitors. I
Makes me
love
upset.
it. Does it? Well, I love
Not
it.
a fan.
Go
But I do want to know more about
Well,
the
we know
cat.
you're not a fan of pussy.
I want to know more about the cat. If he was there during breaks in filming, was he there? That's why. That's
Do you
why
think
I
he had his
mainly
own
want to know.
rider? Like he had like one tin of Shiba, a handful of biscuits,
Exactly. He'd probably be advertising if he did.
Dreamies.
Jacob's Creek.
You can get cat wine.
Well, I'm sure they'll have
Do you
the
reckon he has his own
advertising in
Nissan
there.
as well?
Yeah, electric Nissan.
You see this little cat like driving around.
We're not used to it on TV here. We do not have this.
We
But
don't
on
get
this,
product placement in the UK,
a
but we
massive
do, but
advert,
not like that.
Like the people sit around and go, "Cheers, everyone," and then underneath the advert goes, "Jacob's Creek, a great place to have a drink." It's like, sorry.
Let's never forget on the New Zealand series when they all had a McDonald's and for 10 minutes talked about how delicious their McDonald's meal was.
Selling their souls. Anyway, carry on.
If you like watching podcasts, you can find us on YouTube. Just search Faithful to the Traitors podcast, or indeed search BAM Productions because that's the page we're on. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of your favourite podcast apps. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, give us 5 stars if you like listening to the podcast and reasons for why you enjoy listening to us. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your brother that you watch sweatily work out in the corner of the gym. If you want to help us monetarily, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. It really does help with the show and really perk up the standard that is this gutter of a show right now. And don't forget, if you go to this QR code right here and scan it, you can go to our WhatsApp channel and get all the information of any podcast releases, but also anything we'll be doing that you might be interested in.
And if you're watching this on your phone so you can't actually scan it, the link will be in the description. Because that's always a stupid thing people do, isn't it? Scan this QR code. It's like, well, I'm on my phone, so I can't.
Yeah, but a QR code is some people watch
You can
us on a
screen
big
grab
TV.
it and then click it. Whatever. I'm sure people know how to use QR codes.
You do you. We're not going to tell you how to live your life.
We're going to go now and we will see you next week. So until then, remember to stay faithful.